There's one home inspection red flag that has cost buyers in today's market more money than any other, and most buyers walk right past it. After more than 20 years of sitting through home inspections all through the GTA and seeing all sorts of houses, the home inspection gives you a report. It's up to you to decide, do the things that the inspector has flagged matter to you? Is it something to renegotiate, or should you actually be walking away? Some of those red flags may be as simple as a $200 fix. So you sign off on the deal, make that fix, and you're golden. Others could turn out to be thousands, $20,000 nightmares. And there are some that you may decide, this house is absolutely not for me. There isn't enough money in my budget to be able to fix that and make it go away. When you're in the house with your home inspector, you and your agent should have already taken a look at all the major systems. The difference between a smart buyer and a buyer that gets burned is when you're reviewing that report. Are these little issues? Are these fixable issues? Or are these issues that are going to get you burned and cost you thousands of dollars in the end? You've got to take a look at it. So let me break this down into 3 categories for you, because once you understand this framework, you will never look at an inspection report the same way again. The 3 categories are: number 1, stop worrying. Number 2, is it possible that we can renegotiate on some of the items we found? And number 3 is, got to walk away from that deal. So before you even walk into that home inspection, your agent should have already pointed out so many of the things in that home that you're prepared to find in a home inspection. So let's talk about what not to worry about. Listen, there hasn't been a house in the entire city by any agent that hasn't had a grading issue. That's a perfect one to not worry about. Every inspector is going to say, run the grading away from your foundation, keep the house dry. That's not something to worry about. You may find a loose handle here and there. You may find a loose doorknob. These are all normal things that come with a home. And if you've been prepared, even a slightly aging furnace or air conditioning, that's not to be worried about. That's something that you can prepare for in the future during your home ownership. So what items might you be negotiating on after a home inspection? Well, listen, a roof that might need some replacement, your realtor should have already pointed that out to you, and your offer would have been based on that. Same thing with an aging furnace system. Your agent, you can see that with your own eyeballs. Have a look, move on from it. Your offer was based on that. Now, what can't you see that's absolutely worth a renegotiation? The inspector may find mold in the attic. Call the guy, get the seller to remediate that. Now you've got a clean attic, you've got now a clean inspection, and you have a home that you love. So you renegotiate on the things that can be fixed that are not going to impede your enjoyment of that home. So let me tell you a quick story. I had a buyer and we were going through that home. We'd already taken a really good look at it. We brought the home inspector in. We'd already made a deal. And the inspector, honestly, he was having trouble finding any problems or issues with this house. In fact, he said, I don't feel like I'm doing my job. This is a really great house. Then he stuck his head up into the attic, and lo and behold, that attic had mold in it. Poor ventilation. Well, my client was absolutely panicked and was like, do I even want this house? I said, let's take a breath, take a beat, and let's see what we can do about this. So we concluded the inspection there. I made a call to the listing agent and said, hey, we found a lot of mold in the attic. Now, mold is something that is found in a multitude of attics around the city, and it is easily remediated. So I said to the listing agent, we'd like our guy to do the remediation at the seller's expense, and then we can sign off on this deal. The listing agent went back to her seller, and the seller was like, holy crap, I've got mold in the attic. I can't believe it. We're more than happy to get that remediated. Are you sure the buyer is still willing to buy this house? And we said yes. We knew it was going to be fixed the right way with our trade at their expense. We signed off on the deal after the remediation was done. The seller was able to move on. My client had a house with a clean bill of health, and it was absolutely worth having the inspection, number one, and number two, getting an agreement together with the seller that made everything go smoothly in the end. So what are the red flags that you should walk away from? Well, if you and your agent are taking a really good look at a house, there are going to be some things that you see right off the bat that you're not even going to make an offer. Major foundational cracks. I mean, I've been in houses where you can see the foundation starting to collapse. There's a pretty big red flag. There could be massive electrical issues. We don't know until an inspector has been through if there's knob and tube wiring. That was back in the 40s, and it still exists in some homes today. Electrical issues also include aluminum wiring. Insurance companies have an issue with these major things, and the budgetary requirement to remedy those things could just be too big to be able to carry on after an inspection. So those are the kind of things you may just want to walk from. I was in a home with a client, and it was beautiful. It was huge, an open concept. We had an inspector go through and go, yeah, this looks great, but were there permits? We couldn't find any. And he went upstairs and he started bouncing on the floor upstairs, and you could see that ceiling going up and down from where he was walking upstairs. That told us there was a major structural issue with that home. And my client said, too big of a red flag. There's no way we're going to take on the expense of fixing a handyman's do-it-yourself special to make a home pretty and open concept. It looked cosmetic. It was huge. Red flag. They walked. What do we have to do next? Well, number one, you got to be working with a really good agent who's going to be able to walk through the house and already set the expectation of things that you're even going to find with that home inspector as you go through on a home inspection. The visual things that you can already see, the roof, the windows, the furnace, the air conditioner, these are things that you and your agent are going to be looking at before you even make an offer, so that you know ahead of time, is this house even worth spending the money on an inspection? Number two, after you've decided this is our house, we're going to move forward, never skip the inspection. Bring an inspector through, and it should be an inspector. Well, listen, if you're working with a great agent, they're going to have great inspectors who are not going to pull any punches. They're going to go through that house and they're going to tell you everything that you need to know so that you have the full picture on what you're buying. And they've got major things that they're looking for. Is the house safe? Safety is number one. Is the house warm? Listen, we live in Canada. We're buying in the GTA. We have cold winters. What is the heating system like? And number three, is it dry? Those are the main things the inspector is looking for. If it's safe and if it's warm and if it's dry, you're going to be golden. And now you're just looking at a to-do list. Pretty much everything else that can either be fixed or that red flag that you should walk away from. Number three, your inspection, which is probably going to cost around $600 and change, may have to be done before you even put an offer in if it's a home that's holding back on offers. Never skip the inspection. You must know what it is that you're buying and make your offer based on that inspection. I've had people do an inspection before an offer date and say, too many red flags, I'm out of here. Or they're able to go in without a home inspection condition, confident that they know what they're buying. Now, lastly, you should be there for the home inspection. The inspectors are happy to walk through with you and explain everything as you go along. On average, an inspection takes about 2 hours. Follow the inspector. When you have a question, they'll explain what it is you're looking at. The inspector and your agent, who will also be there with you, should have trades and really great advice for who should fix it, approximately how much would it cost to be fixed. And then you can decide, are these fixes that I can take on? Are these fixes that the seller should do before I move in? Are these fixes that I should renegotiate on? Or are these red flags that I need to get out of Dodge and find a better house? Those are the things that you must be looking for and doing.